Hello, my queen, and welcome back to the Infinite Woman podcast. Today, we are going to compare two different types of women that I continue to see in the online space. I have been both of these types of women. One I am right now, one I used to be. And one of those types of women is absolutely killing the game. Okay, she is getting what she wants. She is making the money she wants. She is absolutely slaying, loving her clients, loving her life, just like on cloud nine most of the time. And the other half of the women I see are the complete opposite side of the spectrum. Okay, they are just absolutely so stuck. They are in struggle mode. They don't know why they can't make it work. They don't know what is going wrong. And they stay in this sort of just stuck bullshit loop over and over again. And I see it happening like for years. Or a fun third type of woman is one that ping pongs between those two things. Sometimes she's on top of the world, and sometimes she is like in the depths, what the fuck, wants to burn down her business and live off grid with a goat. So let's talk about the difference in those women and what actually creates the perpetual slaying archetype rather than either ping-ponging between absolutely slaying and struggling or remaining steadfast on the struggle bus. And here's the main thing that I have noticed over time. And I used to be this version of me that was always just looking for like the next strategy or the next coach or the next program or just the next like perfect content plan or DM strategy or whatever. I was always looking for something tangible that could help me. And tangibles can be important. I'm not negating the importance of these things. However, constantly looking for those things is not going to solve the biggest thing that will actually help you if you want to scale and be constantly making more money and doing these things. Because ultimately, the thing that allows you to do that, especially if you are doing that continually, is completely rooted in identity. It is completely rooted in who the fuck you think you are. Because if you think you're someone who does struggle, if you think you're someone who can't get it right, if you're someone who thinks that success only lasts so long and then it all goes away, that is going to be true for you because that's how you see yourself, which means that's how you're going to behave and that's what's going to manifest inside your reality. And the hardest fucking pill to swallow, my queens, is the fact that you can be doing all of the quote unquote right things. And if you are doing all of those right things with the wrong subconscious identity, you might as well just throw the whole fucking thing away. Okay, burn the whole fucking thing down because you are wasting your time. Because your subconscious mind is constantly just trying to prove that you are who you say you are. So if in the back of your mind, you think you're struggling, if in the back of your mind, you're someone who cannot perpetuate success and it always goes away, good things don't stay. If that's you, it really does not matter how big you win, you will always lose it all. Everything comes back to your subconscious identity. Everything comes back to who you think you are at the subconscious level. And ultimately, if you are not someone who decides, I win consistently, I continually make more money, I'm someone who figures this shit out and I make it fucking work, unless you have those things in your subconscious identity, it's going to be really fucking hard for you to scale. So when we talk about scaling, I want to make it so clear that scaling is not just a business process. It is a becoming process. You have to become a different version of you to be able to hold a different level of business. The version of you that built to 5K months is not going to be the same version of you that builds to 10K or 20K months. And the same version of you that got you to 20K months is not going to be the version of you that gets you to 100K months. Those versions of you are different. She evolves, she changes. And that doesn't mean that she like becomes this whole new person and like you don't even, recognize yourself or whatever, but you become more and more of the woman you were supposed to be before all of the limiting beliefs took over. So if you were on a scaling journey right now and you're like, what the fuck? I'm trying so hard. I'm doing all the right things. What's the problem? I highly recommend taking your focus off of making more money. How do I make more money? How do I make more money? And instead, how do I become the woman who makes 20K months? How do I become the version of me who has a business like that? How does she think? What kind of decisions does she make? Who is that version of me? Because when you decide to become that version of you, when you decide, I am the version of me that makes 20K months, I am the version of me that has a business that's thriving and can maintain multiple six figures, When you have that identity and you have created the nervous system safety around that identity, that is how scaling occurs. That is how scaling maintains. And more than that, it is how you get the fuck out of your stuckness and you actually get the thing that you've been working toward for so long. So what does it actually take to create this identity? And you could do 20K months or whatever K months, it really doesn't matter. I'll use 20K months just for the sake of this example. But the version of you that makes 20K months, there are going to be things that you have to get rid of, that your current identity is rooted in, that simply cannot come with you to the 20K month mark. So if you have things around what this success requires, and those things are fears. So for example, if you have a fear of being seen, or you freak the fuck out the second you get any pushback from a client, or you get to the point where there are just too many decisions to make or too much on your plate, that is not the identity of the version of you that can handle that much money, because the responsibility and the success that comes with that much money is not something that you can handle. And I talked about this on Instagram earlier this week because my son had a huge allergy flare up. Okay, he's had food allergies his whole life. It's been an adventure, to say the least, because I don't have any food allergies. So this has been a learning curve for me. But there was an allergen in his food that we did not know of. And he had a huge rash all over his body. Hives, it was horrible. Very scary for my husband and I. But it was one of those days where I had to move a client call because of it. It was a busy day, so I could feel myself getting a little overwhelmed. And then as soon as he went to bed, it was like, okay, back to work. Like, we're okay. We can bounce the fuck back. Successful and scaling women can bounce back from discomfort so easily. So when there are things that stretch you and there is an amount of visibility or responsibility that is new to you, if you have the capacity to actually deal with that shit without freaking the fuck out and shrinking back to old patterns and old habits, that is what it takes to get to your next level. It is not going to come to you by being able to withstand the same amount of discomfort you can right now. If that were true, you'd have what you want already. You'd already have that much money, but that's not how it is. You have to become an expanded version of you with an expanded capacity and expanded thinking as a result, so that you can actually bounce back when shit gets hard, because it will get hard. Okay. There is not a time in business where nothing ever goes wrong, where everything is fucking sunshine and rainbows. Like, that is not actually how it goes for anyone. Okay. No one is out here with a perfect business. I don't care how fabulous it is. I love my business. I love my clients. I love my life. Everything is so fucking fabulous most of the time. And still my son ends up with like a rash and hives and shit hitting the fan. Things happen. That's life. It's not about the absence of difficulty that makes business feel fun and easy. It is your ability to withstand discomfort and deal with hard shit and bounce back afterward. That is it. But so many of you are associating success with burning the fuck out and busting your ass, being overwhelmed, having no freedom, not being able to see your kids. And that's what's in your focus. That is what's in your focus, rather than all of the impact you can make and building your capacity so that you can handle more on your plate, maybe, but it doesn't feel like burnout. It doesn't feel like overwhelm, because you're balancing and integrating everything accordingly. Now, I want to talk about something that has been on my mind, because if you scroll on Threads for a few minutes, you will hear a lot of people bitching about the coaching industry, a lot of people bitching about their business, about how it's so hard and so this and so that and whatever. Do not surround yourself with women like that. Do not, because they will sabotage your success. Your brain is always listening. Your subconscious mind is always listening. And if you hear something enough times, it starts to become true. And it is much easier for your brain to hear people say how hard it is and then find evidence of it than it is to ignore that shit and keep it moving. Successful and scaling women surround themselves with people who understand business, who understand that maybe there are difficult moments and they can be human and say like, yeah, that shit was hard. But they're not constantly complaining about business. They're not constantly complaining about their clients. They're not constantly complaining, period, because that is not what infinite women do. So when I do see that shit online and I see people just constantly complaining, number one, I know for a fact you're not succeeding in your business if that's what you're spending your time doing. And number two, that is exactly what's keeping you in that place, is the constant bitching, being a victim of everything instead of taking your fucking power back and creating the life that you want. No one is going to do that shit for you. And it is much easier to move forward and succeed quickly when you're surrounded by women who are doing the same. Not to mention, your nervous system is calibrating to those around you. So if you see other women learning to expand, learning to handle shit in business, learning to handle life and business at the same time, you're going to start to do the same. You are going to start to calibrate to that level. Whereas if you are constantly surrounding yourself with people who are fucking complainers and whining about their coaching investments or whining about their clients or the economy or whatever other bullshit, that's going to be so much easier to slip into. And the second you get in that place, it is 100 times harder to get the fuck out than it is to just avoid that shit altogether. And while I'm at it, because I feel like I'm on a roll here, I need to just remind you that if you are a spiritual queen and you are doing the inner work and you are doing nervous system work and you are understanding inner healing and you are truly connecting to energetics and faith and the quantum realm and all of these things like I am, I have a huge amount of awareness for that side of me, for that side of my business and everything. But spirituality is not a replacement for action. It is not going to replace the actual action that needs to be taken inside a business. Yes, I am a spiritual and energetic businesswoman. It is not a replacement for doing the fucking work that builds an actual business, whether you were spiritual or not. Maybe your spirituality and your energetics change the actions and the way that you do them, but it's not going to change the fact that you have to do them. It's not going to change the fact that you have to take action. You have to put yourself out there. You have to be selling your offers because closed mouths don't get fed. You have to be getting to the point where you do not use these things as an excuse to not take action. And that goes for everything. It goes for human design. It goes for astrology. Like, I can't take action today because my manifesting generator. No, like, okay, I'm a Manny Gen, 1-3 Manny Gen. I'm a Virgo. I love all of these things. I just need to let you know, like, this is not criticism of those communities, but like, the moon is mooning no matter what. The energetics are always energeticing and the universe is always universing. Like, it really doesn't matter. Take the fucking action. Do the thing. That is success. Like, despite those things, you are able to show the fuck up and do the work. And again, maybe you change a little bit about the way you do them, but you're still fucking doing them. You're building a business. You are still a businesswoman. Yes, with an energetic side, but you still need to do the work. And really, at the end of the day, when I think about women who are scaling versus women who are plateauing, if you will, is women who are scaling just take action and they listen to themselves. They behave like the version of themselves that they want to become before they feel ready. They can deal with the discomfort of doing so because they have the nervous system capacity, and they just keep going. They're not available for less. They aren't available for settling. They don't want to even entertain the idea that this shit might not work, because the second you do, your brain will find evidence that maybe it's not working. And then you'll blame it on something like your human design or your astrology, when it's really just that you didn't do the fucking work and you did not change your subconscious mind's programming to be able to find proof that it's working. So successful women, they just don't fucking wait, and they don't allow strategy to be a replacement for the identity work either. All of the successful strategy coaches I know talk about identity because it's everything. It is everything, queen. So if you have your identity on lock, you have your capacity on lock, and you have your action on lock as a result of those things, that is how you scale. That is how you make money. You do the damn thing. You put yourself in the places where you need to be, and you become the woman you need to become. Whereas women who are plateauing are waiting a lot of the time. They're blaming everything on energetics. They're blaming everything on the circumstances around them or whatever. Like, there is no reason why I should be at almost 200 grand this year in literally 1 year of motherhood. Like, I just celebrated 1 year of motherhood. Why is it that way? How did I get to this point? Oh, because I don't fucking wait. I take action, and I don't give a fuck about what's realistic or what kind of excuses I could make. I just do. I do things. I take action, and I become the woman that I want to become before I'm actually her, before I feel like her, before it's comfy. I pretend like I'm her already. I program my mind to what her mind would say, and that is why I have what I have, and that's exactly how you'll get what you want as well. So if you are listening to this episode and you're like, holy fucking shit, like, I really need to get myself on lock. I need to get my identity on lock, my capacity on lock. I have just the thing for you. I have linked below my Hypno for Bigger Money recording. It is everything, okay? Multiple women have jumped in there already this week. I love it so much. You can listen to it at night before you go to bed while your brain is calming down, and it will literally rewire your mind into having bigger money capacity. Capacity is everything. It's a reflection of your identity. So all of this will work together if you are someone who wants to scale. It's also a really fabulous way to get a taste of my work if we've never worked together. It is about 40 minutes. So it's like a very, very cool hypno that will take you through a lot of rewiring work at once. So if you are sick of trying a bazillion strategies and all this other bullshit, just take it from me, queen. Okay, do the inner work. And I will just remind you that your nervous system will indicate so much about what you get to have because it does not give a fuck about your income goal. It doesn't care that you really want to make some amount of money this month. It cares about what it believes that income will cost you, aka responsibility, visibility, all of those things. And it cares about what feels normal. If you're freaking the fuck out at some amount of money, you're never going to make it. And that's the truth. So if you love this episode, share it on Instagram, hit me up in the DMs. And of course, check out Hypno for Bigger Money in the show notes. Mwah! I love you, queens, so much. Happy Fab as Fuck Friday, and I'll see you next week.